Welcome to SoCal Auto Sound. Today we're looking at a 2013 Harley-Davidson Street Glide. This bike has an exceptionally clean, high-output sound system. But what makes this sound system unique is that it doesn't look like it's got a great sound system. Most custom Harley sound systems tack on extra speakers in the front, to the passenger armrests, or in the saddlebag lids, giving an otherwise beautiful bike a cheesy, tacked-on look. Not only is this particular system nearly invisible, but it will play cleaner and louder than all but the most dedicated show bikes. And unlike show bikes, it still has fully usable saddlebags. You can listen to your music at 80 miles per hour on the highway, or host a party in the parking lot where all of your friends will be completely confused as to where such great sound is coming from. Which is pretty cool if you're into the stealth look, at least as far as your sound system is concerned. With a few exceptions, the front of the bike follows closely to what most are doing with the Street Glide. The factory head unit lacks the power to drive quality aftermarket speakers and does not seem to behave well when run through a conventional high-low adapter into a separate amplifier. That's really not a big deal, as this Kenwood Marine stereo is not only a much better stereo, with proper preamp outputs for an external amplifier, but also has a greater variety of inputs, and in most owners' opinions, actually looks better in the dash than the stock stereo. As an added advantage, you can sell your stock Harley stereo for more than you'll pay for the Kenwood stereo. This particular bike takes advantage of the iPhone input, Sirius XM satellite radio, as well as CD and AM/FM. We've mounted the owner's iPhone holder to the dash so he can use navigation. This radio has both front and rear USB and auxiliary inputs. In this case, the owner had us run the rear USB to his iPhone, but some owners will have us run it to the passenger seat so that the passenger can control the music. The handlebar controls function just as they would with the factory system, but with some interesting additions. Not only will they control the volume and track on CD or radio, but will also control the track on your iPod, iPhone, or Android. They will allow you to go forward and back not only with the internal music, but also with Pandora or any other internet radio source. They'll also control the stations on Sirius XM if you opt for that option. The speakers are high quality, high power handling, 6.5-inch aftermarket speakers mated to the stock 5.25-inch openings with commonly available adapters. The Kenwood preamp outputs run to a 4-channel Class D amplifier under the fairing. This amp puts out a true 90 watts RMS to both front speakers, as well as 180 watts to the rear woofer, which we'll get to later. What makes this setup unique is that these speakers do not play any of the mid or lower bass. The rear woofer plays all of the bass, allowing the front speakers to play the mid-range and high frequencies much louder and cleaner than they could otherwise. That takes us to the real secret of this system: 1 or 2 dedicated woofers in the saddlebags. Most custom Harley sound systems try to play louder by adding a set of 6.5-inch speakers to the passenger armrests, or a set of 6x9s in the lids of the saddlebags. I've never heard anyone say either of these setups actually looks good, but most just consider them a fact of life for getting more volume out of a motorcycle. Unfortunately, these solutions only marginally increase the sound output. What these bikes really need is a dedicated woofer for the bass frequencies. I say woofer and not subwoofer for a reason. The speaker does not play way down deep like the subwoofer in your car or home stereo system. In the open air that a bike system plays in, trying to do that would just waste power and output. In fact, this woofer is electronically rolled off at a range that allows it to play the bass in most music without wasting energy and generating noise by trying to play really deep bass. Sometimes we'll put a woofer in each bag, but in this system the owner is more than happy with the output from a single woofer in just one bag. This single 8-inch woofer can generate several times more sound output than 2 6x9s can, and because of the way we have the crossovers set up, will allow the speakers in the front to play cleaner and louder than they ever could if they were also trying to play bass. The bag or bags with the woofer in them are still usable as bags. Only a small section is taken up by the woofer. Since it's not trying to play really deep bass, it doesn't really care whether the bags have stuff in them or not, and they still remove from the bike just as easily as the stock bags other than having to disconnect a single speaker wire connector, which takes all of 10 seconds. Since the woofer fires into the rear tire, you can't even see it when the bags are on the bike. What you get is a stealth sound system that will play cleaner and louder than any of the more expensive and vastly less discreet sound systems on the market. There's really no magic to it. But just like everything else we do here at SoCal Auto Sound, it took a little thought and engineering instead of just taking a more is better approach. Next, we're going to try to demonstrate the system in action, which is tough to do with a mic on a video camera. In fact, you can hear the mic clipping at several points because it's so loud. But with the engine running and being barely able to hear the exhaust, it kind of gives you an idea at just how loudly and cleanly this system will play.